how does the team see communication with the community in the future? Would you like to answer that, Owen?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I know it's something that like you always want to see a 100% transparent team, and I absolutely get that. I like our team to be as transparent as we possibly can be. And I think up until really last week, we did an extremely good job at that, and that all our ducks were in a row. And when things were falling through, there were things that we had basically never even spoken with the community about, like small little events that we had planned, or like, YouTubers that we were working with, stuff like that. I mean, a lot of stuff fell through over the last couple of weeks, but we never really had to mention it because there was no event that it was leading up to. These were just going to be released. And I think with it coming up to the date of the liquidity pool, there was a high expectation of events dropping on that date. And I think once that did drop through, and we couldn't really speak too much about it, as some of them are postponed, some of them are cancelled in full, but we couldn't speak a whole lot about it because we would, again, it's selling a rumor, that kind of thing. It's like we do try to be as transparent as we possibly can, but when things just really don't go your way for a full week, and coupled in with the general disheaval that you would have in a very red market, I can understand how absolutely frustrating that is when you're sitting in a telegram room waiting for some information. I mean, 100% I do. And anything that we can speak to you about, we will always speak to you about in full. We're happy to continue. I mean, I think we might even host these AMAs a little bit more often, just to kind of have a proper kind of community event that we can actually sit in and run through all of these things and assuage any kind of concerns that you have on it as well. But if you think that there's anything that we can kind of improve, in that area, definitely do let us know. But of course, there are certain things that, as I said, we simply can't be 100% transparent about. We can't state what CEXs we may or may not be working with, as nearly all of them are under NDA. And even if they weren't under NDA, the minute we mention it, it'll be priced in, and that would be it. We'd start seeing action over something that's not happened. And what happens then if that deal falls through? Like, let's say, for example, if we were working with, let's say it was Binance, and I'm just going to say out loud, as I said a lot of times, it is not Binance. But let's say we were working with Binance, and let's say they wanted the entirety of the liquidity pool, and that was it. They needed the full value of that to go live. And then the market comes down, and all of a sudden we have 55% less, and we have to turn around and say, yeah, we don't have that anymore. I'm sorry that you've already priced it in. Get ready for a dump. That kind of stuff. So we do try to keep as absolutely transparent as we possibly can be without having that kind of impact on pricing and stuff like that. So it is difficult for us as well when there's things that we can't talk to you about, like the stuff that we're really excited about coming up in the very near future. Some of which I can actually share on this AMA today, as we've just gotten the copy sent over, which is brilliant. We'll talk about that in a little bit, Skyler, the thing that we're launching. And yeah, so some things we can talk about immediately. Other things we like to keep it until it is ready and time to go. And I think the frustration that's kind of felt is that there was a big lead up into the week of the liquidity pull, and just so many things fell through. And that's kind of why we felt the disappointment from the community. We felt it ourselves. And I think everybody can sit here and say, like, that should have gone better. And I think with it in hindsight, we will be doing much better beyond this, and kind of better planning out these events and making sure that we have things in concrete before there's any hype built up around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this whole communication stuff too, I personally, I'm more community than marketing. Yes, like I'm doing like a mix of both, but in what I'm trying to say more or less is I want to give you guys as much news as possible, because during the times in 2017, 2018, even lately, like with other projects, I want to know more information as well. Like, I'm a part of you guys. I want to know more. But now that I have all of this information hoarded, I can't give it out to you guys because of these certain things that we're trying to have in place, NDAs, etc. And so you can guarantee, I can guarantee rather, that I'm going to be a thorn in Owen's side trying to ask them, hey, can you announce this? Can you announce this? I'm just going to try to give you guys more information. I heard one of the questions here as well, not heard, but I saw them asking if we could kind of piece together, not piece together, but like take certain parts of the white paper, take certain parts of the project, updates on media, give it updates, just like maybe like a YouTube video development update. I would think that it would actually be pretty good to have these updates in these Ask Me Anythings, which we could have like every month or something, just kind of spitballing here. But absolutely, we'll see more communication on our behalf. And yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah,
But
just to touch on something you said there with video content and stuff like that. Like that's one of the more fantastic things about Dojira, in that we're working on so many visual systems that, if we're working inside games development, we're working on NFTs. This is all stuff that we can start kind of giving previews of or show you how it's made, stuff like that. So I think that's a really good thing to kind of mark down into our plans for when we're moving forward, and having a bit more transparency about what we're working on. Once we get into, the deeper side of development, or when we're making our NFTs, etc., we can put through a couple of videos just showing, how we, excuse me, how we do it, and how we can, like how you'd be able to do it as well, like nearly a mini tutorial on minting an NFT, that kind of stuff.